Okay, so today we're reviewing for your Chapter 2 test, okay? This test is over all of Chapter 2, and really when I designed it that way, I did it for a couple reasons, okay? The first reason is because what you learned in the beginning of the chapter is still just as important, so we need to remember it for our midterm, so you're going to see as each test passes, you're going to see those review questions, okay, popping up on your test. All right, now, for the last part of the chapter, I couldn't get enough questions to make up an entire test. So we have to use all of Chapter 2 so we can come up with enough questions for your test. Your first section is going to be matching. It's going to be transformation, image, reflection, rotation, dilation, translation, similar, and congruent. You do not have to know the definitions of these. I didn't mean to cross them out. I meant to underline them. Okay? But it's still helpful information to know. So that's why that's in the slide, but it's not part of your matching. All right? So I just gave you 8, and 5 of them are going to be on your matching section. Does anybody know where you can find the definitions? In the back of the book. But I'm going to go ahead and give you a couple that are pretty easy. Keywords, flips, turns, okay, changes in size by a scale factor, okay, and translation, what's my keyword? Slides, okay, so I just gave you 4 right there. Transformation, image, similar and congruent figures, those definitions should be pretty easy to find, okay? So just make sure you can recognize them. All right, now the next section on your test deals with just identifying a translation, reflection, or dilation. You guys did pretty good at picking these out on your quiz. However, the why behind it is where you're struggling, okay? So I'm hoping to kind of clear that up in the review today. All right, so first of all, I just want you to go through A, B, and C. You're not drawing these. You're just going to write them on your notes. And again, it matches up with the video, all right, that we'll post up to YouTube. But just for A, B, and C, tell me, is it a translation, reflection, or dilation? Just answer them straight across the board. Just go ahead and label which one's which for A, B, and C. All right, so Anthony, on A, what type of transformation is A? What is A? What's A, Anthony? Is it a translation, a reflection, or a dilation? Translation. Okay, you don't get credit for that because Ethan told you, but you are correct. Translation. All right, now I need to figure out where, okay? By how many? And here's the mistake I saw yesterday. You picked a point, let's say this is figure A and B. You picked a point on A, but then you went to the bottom left point on B. What mistake did you make? It's not corresponding. What's the corresponding point for B? The top one. The top one. So you have to pick the same point on both figures to count. All right, so now you go ahead and figure out, okay, you told me it's a translation, but now tell me by how many units. Go ahead and write that down. All right, so you're going from a -2 up to a +6. That's a big line. -2 up to a +6. So can anybody tell me how many units that is? 8. That's 8 units up. So -2 to 0 is 2, and then up to 6, that's 6 more. All right, and then you're going from a -4 over to a +3. So how many units would that be to the right? 7. Okay, so you would say 8 right, and you could just use an R, and 7 down. Okay, 7 down. 8 right and 7 down. And you're describing the translation. I'm sorry, so, no, wait. Oh my goodness, I totally messed that up. 8 up, oh goodness, and 7 right. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, sorry about that. All right, figure B. Figure B. Sarah? It is a dilation. Anybody have an idea? Okay, it's been a few days since we did dilations. And there's a hint with a green dot on letter A that would tell you how you would figure out what the scale factor is. How would you figure out the scale factor for the dilation? Sherelle? Use two corresponding points. Does it matter which ones you pick?
No.
Doesn't matter. You can pick top right, bottom left. It doesn't matter. Just pick one. Okay, so bottom right and bottom right here. Go ahead and write those ordered pairs down. Write down the ordered pairs. Okay, write down the ordered pairs. All right, so dilation, I pick negative 2, 2. Negative 2, 2, and negative 4, 8. And remember, when I'm doing scale factors, I'm multiplying. Okay, so what do I have to multiply by to get from my first order pair to my second order pair? 2. So that's my scale factor. Scale factor of 2. Okay, so that's going to be 2 points. So what we're writing above, okay, that's half credit. Just tell me what it is. At least you get 2 points. But then to tell me where, that's the other 2 points on your test. All right, so everyone together, what is C? What is C? Reflection. Now tell me where. Write it down on your papers. Tell me where for reflection. Which axis? Okay, so this is a good way to ask yourself tomorrow. Which axis is the figure flipping over to form the other figure?
X.
It's flipping over X. Okay, so the X-axis is the line of reflection. Okay, it's the X-axis. It's not crossing Y at all. Here's your Y. It's not crossing over Y at all. All right, so some people I think are just getting confused about that. So hopefully that's like an easy way to clear up that confusion and get it right on your test tomorrow. All right, any questions on these? 3 questions on your test tomorrow, 12 points right there. Okay, all right, so now you have 2 questions about translations. Please do not write all of the words here, okay? It's just going to take up too much time and we don't have it. Here's what you need to write. Translate the figure 4 units right and 3 units up and write down the ordered pairs, okay? 4 units right and 3 units up. So on the translation question tomorrow, I might say this many right and this many up, and then I'm going to use the same ordered pairs, and now I'm going to say a different number of units left and a different number of units down. So you have to know what is right, what is left, up and down, what signs am I talking about, okay? We'll talk more about that in just a sec. Okay, Caitlin, what'd you get for W? Okay, so what did you do to negative 4? What did you do to negative 4? It says 4 units right. Okay, so 4 units right. Can anybody on her team help her if it's 4 units right? Okay, somebody new though. Lily? Okay, do you guys agree? If I'm going to the right, I'm adding. All right, are you guys paying attention? If I'm going to the right, I'm adding, and then however many numbers it is. Okay, how would I do 3 units up? What would I do to Y? If it's 3 units up, I would, just tell me? I would add 3, okay? So negative 4 plus 4 is 0, 6. 0, 6. All right, so let's go ahead and do the other 3 points now that you've seen one. Remember, I added 4 because it was right. So what if I said 4 units left? What would have been different?
Negative.
You would subtract it, okay? And guys, I'm giving you both on the test tomorrow. So you have to understand right means to add and left means to subtract. Up means to add and down means to subtract from Y, okay? So that's really the whole key to cracking all these translations. All right, so let's do X, Y, and Z now. So everybody together, tell me X. What's X going to be now? 0, 8. What's Y? 6, 6. And what's Z? 6, 8. Okay, are we clear on translations? This is 8 points on your test tomorrow. Are we clear? All right, let's do reflections. All right, it is really surprising to me how many people struggle with reflections but not rotations. Because in my mind, reflections are a lot easier, okay? But here's where we're getting confused. With a reflection, you do not flip the values. That's a rotation. With a reflection, what would give you a hint as to what's happening or what you need to do to the ordered pairs? What gives you a hint, Joshua?
When it says like reflect across the X.
Yes, very good. All right, so here we go. Write down point D, E, F, and G. Here's your hint. Reflect the figure in the y-axis. So now write your ordered pairs. There's no math to do whatsoever. There's no math at all. You just have to know which value is going to change since you're reflecting across y. Logan, what'd you put for D? Did you do D? Did you do D? You didn't do D? No? Aw, man. No D? Okay, Mason, what'd you put for D? Okay, 5, -5. How did you know, Mason, that you needed to do the opposite of the X value? The quadrants. That's a little harder. Okay, all right, but I appreciate the insight. How did I know to do the opposite of X? Because I'm reflecting across Y. And my rule is, whatever axis I'm reflecting, do the opposite of the other value. Okay? So if I'm crossing Y, I do the opposite of X. You see that? Now, if you want to picture how it's going to look on the graph, that's totally fine too. It's still going to be correct, but what's E going to be now? 5, 0. What's F going to be? 2, -2. What's G going to be? 2, -5. Okay? Guys, if I had reflected the x-axis, I would have just done the opposite of y. Okay? Logan, does that make more sense now? Ethan? Okay. Caitlin? All right. Reflections. Now let's do rotations. And on the test, any of the rotations is open game. 180, 90, 270, but I am going to give you the key. The key tells you how the ordered pairs are changing. Go ahead and do A, B, and C. Okay, let's see. Whose turn is it? This side? Okay, everybody has to go. Elizabeth?
-2, -4.
Oh, you guys get a cup too. Okay, so yes, do you agree with her?
Yes.
-2, -4. Flip them and do the opposite of y. Okay? That's what my key says because y was positive and then it was negative in the second ordered pair. So I flip them and I do the opposite of y. All right, so A, -2, -4. B, -2, -2. And C, -4, -3. Who got them all correct? All right, great job. All right, let's do dilations. Okay, go ahead and dilate with the scale factor. You don't have to graph, but I'm going to show you the graph. Ethan, do you have the ordered pair for P?
Is
I know, it was like a glare on the.
Okay, is that better?
-6, -4.
Okay, do you agree with him? P, -6, -4. Okay, he is correct. I multiplied -3 times 2 and -2 times 2 because my scale factor was 2. All right, what is Q going to be, everyone? -6, -8, and R? Okay, so guys, help me understand what's the disconnect between the ordered pairs and the graph, because I had an unusually large number of people actually get the ordered pairs correct and then miss the graph. Okay, if you got -5 on the graph, on corrections you have to redo that on graph paper. All right, so look at your quizzes. Help me understand. It's on the video, so maybe you could help somebody else. All right, where are we going wrong on the graphs? Okay, so here's what it should be. You plot these ordered pairs, the original. Okay, so let's do that. Original ordered pairs, done. Okay, then you plot the ordered pairs of the image. That's what I mean when I say draw the figure and its image. You have to draw both. So some people missed it because they only drew one figure. Okay? You're drawing both, the original ordered pairs and then the new ordered pairs too. Is that the mistake you made, some of you? Okay? So just on your test, make sure you do both. All right, so that's dilations. Now let's talk congruent figures. There are two pairs of congruent figures here. Two pairs of congruent figures on this slide. I want you to tell me which ones. Okay? So go ahead and tell me which ones. That's going to be 2 points on your test. And then the other 2 points is to tell me the why, or the transformation. That's the because. So between the two, what's going to be the why? Okay, so let's see, who have I not called on? Shantanique, what's one pair of congruent figures? Which one is it? C and A. Very good. Yes, A and C, or C and A, either one. And what type of transformation is happening between C and A? It is a translation. It is a translation. Okay, and on this one, I'll accept just translation. If you can tell me how many, though, that's even better. And remember, we use corresponding points. Okay, so I just count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3 right and 3 down. Okay, but again, just saying translation, that's okay. All right, now what's the other pair? What's the other pair? Just tell me. B and D. Because why? It's a reflection. Okay, so we're clear now, guys. Everybody understand why this is a reflection across the y-axis. Because that's the axis it flips over to form the other one. All right, very good. Congruent figures. Sequence of rigid motions. Again, I have to identify corresponding points. If you don't use corresponding points, you're going to get this wrong. All right, so not only do you have to tell me what kind of transformation it is, you have to tell me how many. Okay? So go ahead and do that. All right, Logan, I'm coming back to you. What type of transformation is happening from A to B? I forgot to make B the dotted figure. So what type of transformation is it, Logan? All right. Well, you only have a couple choices. All right. Anybody on his team want to help?
No,
Yeah, it's a translation. Yeah, translation. I know y'all were helping too, so don't get upset. It is a translation, but, okay, so there's 2 points. All right, but you also have to identify by how many. Anybody on your team have it? Ethan? Well, you should have already counted. Anybody? Anthony?
4 right, 5 down.
No. He did not use corresponding points.
Oh.
Joshua?
5 minutes right.
It is 5 units right, so let's just pick the top point.
8 units down.
Ooh, close. 7. Okay, so I go 5 right and 7 down. Okay, translation 5 right and 7 down. Guys, on your quiz, a lot of you forgot to write translation, and you just told me how many units it moved. Okay, don't forget to identify the transformation. It's a translation. All right, and then 5 right and 7 down. Okay. All right, similar figures. Again, pick ordered pairs of corresponding points. All right, then it'll tell you basically what the transformation is. So go ahead and do that. Okay, I picked out the bottom right ordered pairs 1, 1, and 2, 2. Okay, if you pick different ones, you should have still seen that you had a scale factor of 2. Dilation scale factor of 2. Who got that right? Dilation scale factor of 2. Who got it right? Dilation scale factor of 2. All right, now let's talk about similar figures where we need to set up a proportion. You have 2 problems like this on your test. 2 problems. So again, that's 8 points just to set up a proportion. All right, so I've had kids sitting there like just leaving it blank and they're like, well, I don't know what number to put first. Is there only one way to set up a proportion?
No, there's
No.
4.
There are so many ways you can set it up as long as it matches on the other side. Okay, so go ahead and set up your proportion and solve. You have the answer? Good. Let's see. Caitlin, what's my proportion? Okay, well, what's going to be my proportion? Okay. I was going to call on her anyway. What's going to be my proportion? All right, so look at your first figure. How are you going to set up a ratio? All right, Sarah?
Okay, 9 centimeters.
Okay, that is my answer, but what is the proportion that you set up?
Do cross products.
Okay, yes, now back up another step.
And
What's,
then we do 4 over 6.
Okay.
And then 6 over x.
okay, so she did 4 over 6, so she did bottom and then the height. So then she did the same thing on the other side, 6 and then the x, okay? So 4 over 6 and 6 over x. Then she did her cross products, 4x equals 36. Divide both sides by 4, and x equals 9. 9 centimeters, okay? You have 2 problems like that on your test tomorrow. Now, what a high, okay, guys, listen, we have got to clear this up because this one's got to be a no-brainer on your test tomorrow. I had a high number of people missing this question, and here's 2 reasons why. One reason is they did not find both. Look at your quiz. More than likely, someone in here did not find both perimeter and area. The second reason is they're not going in the correct direction. Red to blue. Write down your ratio. Red to blue. Write down your ratio. Go ahead and do it for perimeter and area. Write down your ratios. Okay, all right, we're going to the blue side. Let's go with, no, no. All right, so Ethan, what is going to be my ratio? What's going to be my ratio? What's going to be my ratio, guys? No, that is not correct. Lily, what is my ratio?
My God.
What's my ratio?
It's 4 over 5.
Yes, it is 28 over 16. It's red to blue. She just pointed to her paper. That's all she did. She had it written on her paper.
She said
Okay.
she had it written on her paper.
Yes, so it's 28. She didn't know what I was asking. She had it written on her paper. It's 28 over 16. It's red to blue. Okay, pay attention. So it'll be dotted, or it'll say A to B or B to A. Now it's going to be 7 over 4. That's the perimeter. That's the perimeter. How do you find the area? How do you find the area? I hear you. It is to square it. 49 over 16. And that's, yes. I hear you. I hear you. Okay, 49 over 16. Guys, can you please get this right on the test tomorrow? This is like so simple. Oh, it's frozen. It's frozen. Okay, let me unfreeze it.
You won.
Okay, so you have a review section on your test. There are 3 questions where you are solving an equation. There are 2 questions where you are solving for y. Okay? These questions are 2 points apiece. Okay, so they're not worth as much as your regular test questions, but it's important that we hang on to this knowledge so we can do well on the midterm. Okay? So, here's what we're going to do. Solve the equation. Go ahead and distribute and combine like terms. Work this problem, please. Distribute and combine like terms. Okay, what's 2 times 3? 6. What's 2 times negative 2p?
Negative 4p.
Negative 4p. Guys, this should be a review. Minus 17 equals 41. Okay, is there anything you can combine on the left side of the equation?
6 minus 17.
Yes, what's 6 minus 17? Negative 4p minus 11. If you wrote negative 11 minus 4p, it's the same thing. Equals 41. What do you do now? Add 11, both sides. Negative 4p equals 52. Now what do I do? Divide by negative 4, both sides. And p equals negative 13. Okay, we don't have enough time to actually work through this next one, so I'm just going to show you what we do. Here's what I need to know. I'm solving for y. So if I'm solving for y, I have to get everything else to the other side of the equation. That means I need to move positive 2x to the other side. Remember, guys, I'm not dividing yet. That's the number one mistake that I see here. I need to move the entire term 2x. If I divide by 2, I'm leaving the x, and that does me no good. I need to subtract the entire term. Are you paying attention?
Yes.
6y equals, can I combine these?
Yes.
No, they are
no.
not like terms. Negative 2x plus 8. Now what do I do to solve for y?
You divide, yeah.
Divide everything by 6. 6 all the way across. Guys, this is in chapter 1 of your Algebra 1 book. This is in chapter 1 of your Algebra 1 book. The same chapter 1 that was pre-algebra, it's going to be in your chapter 1 of your algebra book. This is not going anywhere. Okay? That's why it's so important that we understand how to rewrite y. If you understand that, you should be ready for your test tomorrow.